Hi guys, I hope you're good today. So today we're going to be looking at the Solana chart. So let us get straight into the analysis. So at this point over here we have this candlestick, which is a bearish candlestick with a small body and a long lower wick. So what this says to me is that we have a whole lot of liquidity at this level, and that the market has to come to this level to grab that liquidity before possibly pushing up again. Um, on the other hand, we also have this candlestick over here, which is a bullish candlestick with a small body and a very long upper wick. Similarly, it tells us that at that level we have a whole lot of liquidity there, and in the future we will see price coming to that level to trigger that liquidity. So let's move forward. um, on the monthly chart, I don't really see much that is interesting. So what I'm gonna do now actually is head over to the weekly chart. However, before I do so, I think I should just point out one other thing, and that is that we had an overextended information in this region with the neckline being there. Um, we are yet to see price coming back to the neckline to retest it before pushing down again. So I usually say that when we have informations and the neckline has been broken, ideally we would love to see price coming back to that neckline to retest it. In which case we would look for further selling opportunities at that point, and the anticipation is that price would move further down. And actually, if you think about it, this would work very well, in my humble opinion, in the sense that if this is the information and the neckline is there, and price currently is at this level, and we also have this candlestick over here, which is a liquidity candlestick, um, it would make sense actually for price to come back to this level to retest the neckline and then push back to this level to grab that liquidity that I spoke about, and then push further up. So we would look for selling opportunities at this point and look for buying opportunities at this level over here, and hopefully to around here at this level where we have this candlestick, which is a liquidity candlestick as well. Nonetheless, before we head over to the weekly chart, I'm just going to add a neckline to that area so that we don't forget about the fact that we have a very strong area of resistance over here, which is also the neckline. There we go. So excuse me. So let's continue. um from here I'm gonna go to the weekly chart. So here we are on the weekly chart. So what do we see on the weekly chart that is interesting or significant? So as much as we have that huge M structure that I spoke about on the monthly chart, we also have a W structure in this region with a neckline being there. So what's actually happening right now is that we have price testing that neckline, and in fact we had this candlestick over here, which is a bearish candlestick with a long wick. So we have indeed liquidity at this market, and these 1, 2, 3 small candlesticks, in my humble opinion, were actually going down to grab that liquidity, and also, as I said, to test the neckline of excuse me, this W formation over here, right? So ideally we should be looking for buying opportunities at this level. However, I would not do so as yet, and that is because we have that small candlestick that I spoke about on the monthly chart that is sitting around this level somewhere, which has a whole lot of liquidity that needs to be triggered by the market before we actually see price going up. Nonetheless, let's keep going forward. Let's see. What else do we see on this chart? So I see that also price had attempted to create a W formation here, with the neckline being in this region the neckline was broken. However, we never got to see price going up and then coming back to retest that neckline, in which case we would have looked for further buying opportunities at this level, as this would be the anticipation, and hopefully price would have went to this level where we have that huge excuse me guys where we have that huge bullish candle with a small body and a long lower wick, where we have that liquidity area that needs to be grabbed by the market. Nonetheless, let us move forward. So we saw that, as I say, that this level, or rather this neckline, was unable to hold price, or rather it was not tested. But what ended up happening is that due to this W structure, right, um, we saw price coming down. The reason why we have this move over here is because we had a W structure with a neckline over there. The neckline was broken a bit, and I usually say that whenever we have W formations, what happens is that a lot of traders and investors would buy at this region and would buy again at this region where the neckline is once it has been broken, and they would put their stop losses just below that W formation. And that is exactly what happened here, where we had this W formation with stop losses at this point below that W formation. Hence, we had this entire move here. And as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 strong bearish candles. So this tells me that this entire move was indeed a stop hunt, because there is, or rather there was, quite a lot of liquidity sitting at this level due to that W structure. So in my humble opinion, price is not done in regards to stop hunting, because as I said guys, we have that candlestick over here which also carries a whole lot of liquidity, and I believe that the market must grab everything in terms of liquidity before actually going up again. So excuse me, what I'm going to do right now is head over to the daily chart, seeing that I don't see anything else of value on this particular chart. Here we are on the daily chart. So the first thing that I'm going to do on the daily chart is add my daily channel. Let's see, just bear with me guys. How would I add my daily channel? Let me see. Okay, I would add my daily channel in this manner. Let's see. And there goes my daily channel. I just need to ensure that my daily channel is as accurate as can be. There we go. There goes my daily channel. There we go. Right, and let's continue. So here we are on the daily chart. So what do we see on this chart that is interesting? So excuse me guys. So we spoke about that huge W structure on that weekly chart, and we said that at this point here we had a whole lot of stop losses that are stuck there, hence we saw this movement coming down, right? As much as that's the case, this entire area here has become a very strong area of resistance. It is also the neckline of that huge M structure that we spoke about on the daily chart. So we might see in the future actually price bouncing at this point before actually going up again, as I said on the monthly chart. So what else do we see on this chart that is interesting or significant? I see that price had created quite a few informations. There's an information in this area with the neckline being there. Price broke the neckline, went back to retest that information. So we would have looked for possible selling opportunities at this point. Nonetheless, we just needed to keep in mind that this level was also a very strong area of support, and that there was a chance that even if we had sold at this point, price would bounce at this level and then possibly go up again. Nonetheless, it went down because, as I said, this whole move was a stop hunt, right? So over and above that M structure over here, we also have another small M structure over here. However, we never got to see price coming back to the neckline to retest it before pushing down, because as I said, guys, that when we have M formations, ideally would love to see price coming back to the neckline to test it and then go further down. So we never got to see that neckline being tested, and that's what may actually happen next, where price has broken the neckline and we may see it coming to the neckline again to retest it and then pushing further down, and it may push down to that candlestick that I spoke about on the weekly chart, which is carrying a whole lot of liquidity. So we need to keep that in the back of our minds, in the sense that that's also a possibility, and that's what may actually happen next. Just to move forward again, I can see that price currently is testing this area, which is a strong level of support, because we had a first touch there, we had a second touch there, and we had a third touch there. And we know by this point that the training around third touches is that when the market comes to a support area and touches that area 3 times, on the third touch is where people would look for further buying opportunities. So in my humble opinion, this area over here could actually be a trap, because what's happening right now is, due to the third touch, a lot of people, or rather a lot of traders and investors, are actually buying, because they're anticipating that the first touch happened, the second touch happened, and the third touch happened, and they are going to be looking to buy. However, just keep in the back of your mind that we have that bearish candlestick over here at the bottom, which has a whole lot of liquidity at that level, which needs to be traded by the market as well. So I would not be buying at this stage. I would wait. Excuse me, guys, I'm coming down with a bit of flu. So what I'm going to do right now is actually just add a line, or rather mark that support area, so that we don't forget about it. There we go. Another thing that may actually happen is, as much as I just explained what I've just explained, we might see price actually create a head and shoulders pattern here and move up possibly. So we just need to keep that in the back of our minds, that this is also a possibility. Let's continue. So I don't see anything further on this particular chart. So what I'm going to do is head over to excuse me, the H4 chart. However, before I do so, let me just point out one other thing, and that is that at this point we also have a bullish candle with a small body and a long upper wick, which says the market may come to that point as well, or rather the market must at some point come to that level to grab some liquidity. So that's the daily chart. Let's move to the H4 chart. So here we are on the H4 chart. The first thing that I'm going to do on this H4 chart is fix my daily channel. Just bear with me, guys, as I fix my channel. There we go. Okay, that's fine. Let's continue. The next thing that I'm going to do on this particular chart, which is the H4 chart, is also add my H4 channel. Let's see, how would I add my H4 channel? Let's see. So I'm going to add it in this manner. Just bear with me. Let's see. Just bear with me, guys. there goes my H4 channel, and I'm just going to make it a different color so that it stands out from excuse me, the daily channel that we have added. There we go. There goes our, in fact, let me make it a different color so that it doesn't have the same color as that support area that I've just added. Let's go with a blue. There we go. That's perfect. So there goes the H4 chart. So what do we see on this H4 chart? So we can see that the H4 chart actually is in a downtrend, and that is told by these channels that we've just added, and that we also had quite a lot of informations, like there's one there with a neckline there, like the neckline was tested here. We had another small information here with a neckline there. However, price went up again as opposed to just break that neckline, making this irrelevant in my humble opinion. We also had some double formations at this point with the neckline there. Price came back to retest the neckline, but the neckline unfortunately was not able to hold. But as I said, guys, this whole movement over here is a stop hunt because there was a lot of liquidity at the bottom, as we had the huge W structure on the bigger charts with stop losses just below that region. So let's continue, guys. So what do we see now on this chart, which is the H4 chart? So we also had an M formation in this region with the neckline being there, right? And we are yet to see price come back to the neckline to retest it. So what may happen is price may head to this area to test this M formation, and it may actually go down to that bearish candle that I spoke about at the bottom, which is carrying that liquidity. So what I'm going to do now is actually add a neckline to this M formation. Just bear with me, guys. There goes our neckline, and I just want to see if the neckline actually aligns with the, or rather any of the key areas on the Fibonacci retracement tool. Just bear with me. Just bear with me, guys. So there we go. So guys, can you see that the neckline of our information is in line with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement zone? So what that says is that should price come back to this level, there's a very big chance that it'll bounce here and then push further down. And that is because we have an information and a neckline, and the neckline aligns with the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement zone. So as I said to you guys, that just to recap, price at the moment is actually testing the zone with those three touches that I spoke about on the daily chart, and I said that we should not be looking for buying opportunities because there's still a lot of liquidity below that needs to be grabbed by the market. So what I would do is I would wait for price to retrace to this level, to retest this information, and I would look for further selling opportunities, and my take profit would be that huge candle, that huge bearish candle with a small body and a long level wick. From that point, once that candle has been filled, I would then look for potential buying opportunities. So that is it, guys, in as far as my analysis goes for Solana. If you have any further questions, just let me know in the comment section, and if there are any other charts that